Okay, so just again, physical links to all these things. We have different frameworks that we'd work within for each of these areas. Some of you will have seen some of the stuff on our speed agility seminars or webinars before, in terms of our approach to skill, drill, chaos. Today we're going to focus on this repeatability area and how we pull that apart essentially. There's obviously a repeatability section to components contact skills, but what we're going to do today is mainly focus around this how you move around the field, and it's your on feet repeatability really. But happy to answer some questions on contact skills and how that might fit in later. But that contact skills really is a whole nother sort of I don't know if you could do it as a webinar really. It's probably more of a practical session. I've had loads of conversations. I love chatting to all different coaches about their experiences, and I think it's really important. And I think the S&C community is amazing for that in terms of the willingness to learn, the willingness to be open and share with other coaches. So a lot of my development and understanding has also been hugely due to conversations with other coaches who work with other teams or other sports. And one of the things I became aware of is that when I'm speaking to coaches from Premiership rugby or with experiences around Premiership rugby, Championship rugby, rugby league and football, is there seems to be this common theme that most of their conditioning seems to consist of MAS runs and repeat speed. And I imagine there's quite a few people who are registered, and this, I suppose, approach that we're going to discuss will be preaching to the converted a little bit. So this is very much just my take on it. This is the approach that's developed over time, and how I put it together. But I do think there sounds like this common approach, which is very much flog people from the start. And I think it's built on the wrong foundations. Essentially, it feels like it's built around this, psychological toughness, or what the coach expects to see, what the player expects to feel. And it's problem probably with Western society and how we think about stuff. To be honest, in this grind, hustle, as long as you're working your ass off, you're doing all right. And unfortunately, while hard work's obviously important, I always say to some of the players, and the universe doesn't care. Like, you either get better or you don't get better, and it's basically as simple as that. So MAS runs can be a vehicle for improvement. Repeat speed can be a vehicle for improvement. We're going to talk about where they fit into the picture, but for me, just bringing players in from day one and flogging them means you don't have very far to. I don't see how you can really progress in terms of how we understand repeated sprint ability and then what's required for team sports if you're just flogging them from day one. And just because it feels like you're getting tired doesn't mean you're getting better, and especially when you're an elite athlete. I've had situations working with athletes in the past where you almost have to convince them to this approach that we're going to talk about, which doesn't actually mean that you need to be tired all the time in order to get fitter. And what I often find is it almost takes a few weeks, maybe months, of them to see the outcomes before they really, really buy in. So they might go on faith if you try and educate them a little bit, but they feel this need to be tired, and it almost gives us some certainty that we've done good work by just getting tired. So hopefully there's most people in here listening would agree that we need to have a little bit more of a thought out approach. A little bit back to just basics, like what is fitness? What is the point of what we're doing? What we're trying to achieve? I've alluded to a little bits already, but for me, essentially, it's the ability to solve problems at the end of a game as effectively or as close to that as they're able to at the start of the game. And it's as simple as that, really. So everything we want is them to be able to solve that problem. Where does fitness fit into that? And I think, again, when we're looking at sort of trying to error detect in a sense, we need to try to understand if things aren't going well at the end of the game, how much of that is the interplay between physical fitness or conditioning levels and their technical tactical abilities under that fatigue, and then how much of it is just pure they're just not fit. So there's obviously ways we can measure that and understand that.